Hey, what's up, Lisa?
Hi Mark, how are you?
I am good. Just got out of Miss Fritzler's service learning class. Have you heard about all the cool things we are doing this trimester?
Yeah, I've heard. I'm kind of sad because she didn't do all of that extra stuff with our class last trimester. I heard she's back in school at Fresno State, and she is taking a class that's getting her all excited about getting her service learning classes to write more about what they are learning.
Yep, at first our class was worried that we were going to have to actually work and learn something during electives, but it has actually been fun. Don't get me wrong, we have for sure had to work hard, but it's fun, so it's not like work at all.
That's awesome, Mark. We just learned about hunger and homelessness in our town and did some projects in that class. Did you guys do that too? How is what she did with us different than what she's doing with your class?
Well, Lisa, we are still doing all of those interesting projects. We are just reflecting on all of our experiences in journals. We write before a project, during, and then after. It's been cool because I feel like I'm able to use my writing to learn about issues affecting our community, connect to these issues, and then we can showcase our understanding to Miss Fritzler using our writing and reflection. And you know how much 7th graders love to write? Ha ha ha. It was hard at first, but we did it so much that it eventually got easier.
That's awesome, but why so much writing? What's the point? What was so wrong with just helping our community without writing about it?
Well, Miss Fritzler says that the Quality Service Learning Program has one or more forms of reflection, and these multiple methods of reflection help us students to connect to the problems we are researching and addressing, like hunger and homelessness in our town. She says that the primary research objective of her study is to explore and describe how a service learning course, blended with writing opportunities, can affect student writing scores. Specifically, her study is investigating how to engage English language students in writing, while at the same time teaching us about service learning and the problem of homelessness in our town. Miss Fritzler is hoping that her research will help other teachers see that writing can be used in conjunction with a service learning project to get English language students as well as all other students motivated about what they are learning.
Do you think it is working? I mean, it sounds like a lot of work to me. What do researchers say affects student motivation and learning?
Miss Fritzler says that researchers agree that language differences, culture, parent education, and income levels, and personal motivation all may hinder an English language students' ability to understand material presented in classes. This in turn can lead to embarrassment, decrease motivation, or delay development of the second language being acquired. Ultimately, all of these factors could lead to low performance on standardized tests.
I know Miss Fritzler and other teachers at our school and all over the country must be stressed out with all of this No Child Left Behind business I have heard about.
Yeah, she talked to us about that too. She said that No Child Left Behind requires that all children, including English language learners, be proficient in English language arts and math by 2014. Can you believe that? I try hard in school and I scored proficient last year. I can't imagine everyone in our class getting all proficient or advanced. Can you?
No, it seems impossible. No wonder Miss Fritzler went back to school. She needed some help. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, Lisa, with English language subgroups falling behind non-English language groups in reading and writing achievement, classroom teachers like Miss Fritzler have been called upon to assume increasingly more responsibility for addressing this achievement gap. Although schools are seeking to develop English language students' reading and writing skills, very few have looked at how service learning can foster these areas.
That's awesome that Miss Fritzler is looking at how service learning can provide opportunities for reading, writing, reflecting, and connecting various content standards, which could potentially lead to improved student learning for the kids in her class. How is she collecting data?
Well, Miss Fritzler collected qualitative and quantitative data and gathered it simultaneously throughout the study, analyzed it separately, and then merged it at the end of the study to identify correlations. The rationale for this research method was to identify the effect of service learning opportunities and connect it to writing on both student writing scores, benchmarks, and our overall attitude towards being able to address issues in our schools and community. Equal emphasis was placed on the qualitative and quantitative data that was gathered in Convergence in order to establish a complete picture of how service learning and connecting it to writing instruction affects both scores and motivation.
Wow, ellipsis sounds like a lot of work. I'm glad I just got to do the fun stuff. I bet Miss Fritzler gave up a bunch of her free time to collect all of that information.
Yeah, I bet she did. She planned out a whole unit that had us doing all kinds of projects and kept us busy. The hunger and homelessness in our town service learning course was designed to tackle questions like, what is hunger? What is homelessness? The course gave us students a chance to learn about hunger and homelessness in our town and to make a contribution towards helping to end both. There were several phases of the course. First, we read literature that dealt with the problem of homelessness as preparation for a service project. We then read and discussed poetry written about homelessness and by homeless individuals. Then we volunteered to read stories about homelessness to students in younger grades.
Wow. We didn't do any of that. I'm impressed.
The next phase of the course had us visit a homeless shelter. We wrote field notes based on our experiences and discussed and analyzed these notes back in the classroom. We then wrote thoughtful and reflective responses to journal topics provided by Miss Fritzler and wrote an essay about the experience.
We just went to the shelter and were kind of freaking out because we didn't know what to expect. It sounds like your class was much better prepared.
Yeah, I think what we learned helped get us motivated and prepared for what we saw. After visiting the shelter, in small groups, we researched the problems we saw and tried to come up with solutions to homelessness. We identified resources and organizations that are available to homeless individuals and presented our findings to the class. We then researched the levels of homelessness found in countries around the world and compared those rates with the United States and then with their own hometown, Tulare, California.
Wow. Kids typically hate research, and it sounds like your class was excited about it. Way to go, Miss Fritzler.
Yes, I think the course was designed to give us students a chance to make a contribution toward ending homelessness and an opportunity to deal with the current issue of concern in Tulare. We were provided opportunities to interact with community members associated with the Lighthouse Rescue Mission who were able to help sensitize us with the homeless or hungry. I know Ms. Fritzler worked all of this around the California content standards too. Impressive.
Well, it sounds like you guys worked hard, but how did she know if all of her efforts were paying off? How did she measure growth or change in your writing skills or motivation?
I think the project was a success, because if the service learning opportunities did not engage the English language students and motivate them, then the new writing prompts did. If the scores did not rise due to increased motivation and connectedness from writing prompts, then they may have risen due to increased service learning. opportunities.
Wow. Fresno State must have a really great Masters of Arts and Teaching program. This sounds challenging. How do you think what Miss Fritzler found out will affect her service learning classroom for the next trimester students? Will they benefit?
I think that future classes will benefit because I can easily see that connecting many different types of learning with one common goal benefited all of the students in my class. This project allowed our teacher to utilize many different teaching strategies like poetry, computer skills, research skills, reading skills, writing skills, critical thinking skills, presentation skills, and interview skills all within a few weeks to achieve her goals for our learning. There is a sense of empowerment that the students in my class gained because they became so knowledgeable on the issue of homelessness in the US and in our hometown.
Well, Mark, it sure was great to talk to you today. Sorry I took up your entire lunch break with all of my questions. It was just so interesting. And you are just so cute.
What was that, Lisa?
Oh, I mean, you are so interesting. Was that the bell? I have got to get to class before I'm late.
Oh, women. Maybe I should research women's work behavior in college. Now that's an idea.